Hello, and welcome to Matthew chapter 6. We're still in what's known as the Sermon on the Mount here. And we get to this part where Jesus says, don't be like the hypocrites. The word it actually means to have a mask on. It figuratively means don't be an actor. You know how the symbol for like actors is like those masks with the smiling and the frowning? You know, it means don't be one of those people. Don't be an actor when it comes to your relationship with God. You know, it's like when you pray, don't pray so that people will see you and think, oh, look how godly this person is. Or when you give, don't do it so that people might see it. It's supposed to be something that's a very personal relationship. You know, when you give, it's supposed to be from a genuine heart. Like, I'm giving for God because I love God, and I want to see people saved. And so that's what he's saying. And then he comes to a part that is called the Lord's Prayer. Very interesting part. I wish I had more time to talk about this, but you know, we're just reading through it. So we can only do what we can. But the Lord's Prayer, it has three different parts that is kind of focused at God. It says, you know, our Father who is in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And so wait a minute. Was that three things? Our Father who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. I'm saying it Old King James Version because that's the way I learned it. But then it starts with the things that we're more asking for. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And then it says, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So some people have gotten from this, there's 4 different aspects of prayer. There's kind of an acronym for it, and it's ACTS. It's adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. Adoration is like the word adore. You know, our Father who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. That's adoration. Confession, we all know what confession is. You know, that's kind of covered when it says, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Or some translations say debts. Forgive us our debts. But that makes it sound like it's talking about money, where it's really talking about like sinning against other people. And then thanksgiving. I don't feel like the Sermon on the Lord's Prayer here is talking so much about thanksgiving as much, but it's definitely a very important part of your relationship with God. And supplication, I feel like this is where people go to town. I was in a class a long time ago where we had to write down all of our prayers, and I found out that supplication, or think of the word supply, you know, when you're asking for things, you know, I would spend most of my time there, and for asking for forgiveness, you know, I was asking for, you know, I was confessing. So confessing and supplication, that was all of my prayers. Adoration and thanksgiving, you know, the things that are just kind of giving back to God, those were things that I wasn't doing much. And I guess there's two sides of that I want to highlight. And one is that, like, let's say that you had a child and all they did was ask you for things, and you know, as they got older and into adulthood, all they did was ask you for things. They would never talk to you because they were interested in a relationship with you, or you know, telling you how much they were thankful. It'd be pretty difficult, you know. And or what if you had a friend like that, you know, and all they were doing was asking for forgiveness and asking you for things. So I read a book not too long ago. It's a really great book by Tim Keller. It's just called Prayer. And he was talking about how prayer should be mostly adoration. And he says when you adore God in your prayers, it does something to your heart where you're kind of aligned with, you know, his will and his ways, and just dwelling on adoration really should be the focus of your prayer more than asking for things. And so ever since I read that book, I was thinking, man, I'm still not very good at adoration, but things have changed. When you really get a handle of adoration and you really just admire all the wonderful parts about God, you know, it really will change your life. So the rest of this chapter I'll just briefly touch on, but a lot of what it's talking about is just not being anxious. It's saying, you know, don't be anxious about what you'll eat and what you'll drink. You know, is God, you know, do you trust in God for your things? Do you believe that God's going to handle it? It's almost like what Jesus is saying here is, when you are anxious about things, you really just are not trusting in God. And faith in God is like a cornerstone of the Christian life. So whatever you're anxious about, you know, just really think about those things and notice that those are your idols, and those are the things that really get in the way of your relationship with God. So don't be anxious about those things. Really trust in God. So I hope you read the whole chapter and really dig into it. I was only able to scratch the surface, but that's Matthew chapter 6. Have a great day. Bye.